What's going on, everybody? My name is Pete Rogers. Welcome to the best bets for UFC Alexa Grasso against Viviane Araujo. From top to bottom, it's an interesting card. Not one of the best quality cards out there, but there are spots that I would definitely like to target from a betting standpoint. And I definitely think that we can take advantage of some of these lines, some soft lines, some chalky lines, a lot of chalk this week, but I do feel like it's rightfully so. And first up, the first bet that we are going to target is Joanderson Brito against Lucas Alexander. And I will say that Brito coming in here with an extensive camp training for his original opponent, and you have Alexander stepping up on short notice. And from all the tape study on Lucas Alexander, he doesn't look like he's a bad fighter by any means. I just really hold Joanderson Brito in such high regard. And I actually think that he can mix things up pretty well, target takedowns, threaten with submissions. His power is second to none, as evidenced in the Andre Fili bout. So I really feel like the line to target here is going to be Joanderson Brito inside the distance, sitting at minus 165. It's a tall task to come into the UFC on short notice, never mind against an uber prospect in Joanderson Brito. And, perhaps you're not a Brito believer, but, a fight against Bill Algeo can pose problems to a lot of people, especially because of his excellent cardio and how he's able to test you in all areas within the mixed martial arts game. So I just think that Joanderson Brito, if he's met with resistance in any area of this fight, he's going to mix things up, incorporate takedowns to really, land some heavy ground and pound or en route to a submission finish, or even on the feet. It takes one shot from Brito to really end the night. So I think that this line is wrong. I think minus 165 is tremendous value against a debuting fighter, especially on short notice against an uber prospect. So bet number one is going to be Joanderson Brito inside the distance, sitting at minus 165. The next bet in the evening is going to be a violence play, targeting the under 1.5 rounds between Jordan Wright and Dusko Todorovic, which sits at minus 230. Now, I understand that there's chalk here, but I really feel like this line should be ballooned a lot higher than it is. You're talking about Jordan Wright, the Beverly Hills Ninja, who in his losses has been finished in devastating fashion. Most recently submitted in round one against Marc-Andre Barriault. Prior to that, round one defeat, 1 minute and 28 seconds against Bruno Silva. His defeat prior to that was against Joaquin Buckley, 18 seconds into round two. And then if you go back throughout his entire career, the only time he's ever been in round two was when he picked up a second round victory over Gabriel Checo in 48 seconds. So whether he's winning or losing, he's a round one type of guy. And I just do not see this fight going 7.5 minutes or beyond that. And then on the flip side, if you look at Dusko Todorovic, he's a prospect, but he might be a busted prospect. And the volatility here could end up result in him getting finished, because he does not keep his hands up at all. He will constantly get rocked on the feet, and he's willing to trade. He also has the avenue of taking the fight to the mat, where he has a tremendous jiu-jitsu skill set. So I just really see on their records a lot of early round finishes. And I don't trust either one of these fighters. And the way they go out there is almost like an emotional fighter. So for us, I think that the line is correct, sitting at minus 230. It was better a day ago. But I feel like this should be a minus 300 line. There's no way that this fight goes beyond 7.5 minutes. Do you guys like free money? If you do, we have a tremendous NHL offer where if you bet $10 on any money line, you win $200 if any team scores a goal tonight. I mean, it sounds like a no-brainer. Free money from sportsbooks does not happen often, so please take advantage of it while you can. It's for first BetMGM users only, and remember, money line plays only. Bet of the evening is going to be the under 2.5 between Cub Swanson and Johnathan Matrinez. Now, traditionally, this isn't a weight class that I like to target the unders. And, you could have a patient striking matchup between both of them. But I have tremendous questions about both fighters. We have Cub Swanson, nearly 39 years old, looking to make a drastic switch to his game and drop down a weight class to 135 pounds. It's a tough task to do, and I don't like these experiments at the tail end of fighters' careers. On the flip side, we have Johnathan Matrinez, who has been rocked and dropped multiple times throughout his fights. And, his chin comes into question. Cub Swanson hits tremendously hard. accustomed to the power and the fighters at 145 pounds. There are just enough. What happens if Cub Swanson has a bad weight cut? He could come in there, fragile, fragile to the jaw, fragile to the body, susceptible to body shots the more weight that you cut. And on the flip side, I don't trust Johnathan Martinez to absorb some of these shots because I have seen him struggle with power in several matchups. So I really think from a skill set standpoint, Cub Swanson's going to test Johnathan Martinez. And on the flip side, the stance, the kicking style of Johnathan Martinez can emulate what Giga Chikadze was able to do to Cub Swanson. So I feel like this is an interesting play because traditionally 135 pounders aren't my underplays at all. But because of the questions and because of the plus money sitting there at plus 120 on the under 2.5, I got to take a stab at that. And I just have to embrace the volatility a little bit and hope for violence. Our final bet of the evening is going to be targeting a young hot prospect in Tatsuro Taira, who is 11-0 and a dominant grappler. I really feel like the sky's the limit for this kid. And I think that when he's able to incorporate his grappling and his heavy top control, his unique takedowns, a lot of upper body takedowns, in combination with his grappling skill set, I think that we're going to see some sneaky submissions from this individual. So Tatsuro Taira sitting there at 11-0. I dove into the submission skills of Tatsuro Taira, and 5 of his professional wins come by way of submission, and a lot of them are coming early. I think that CJ Vergara is a tough test because he's well-rounded, but I feel like this is a prime matchup for Tatsuro Taira to pick up a win. And do I trust Vergara to survive for 15 minutes? In most matchups, I would say yes, but I just really hold Tatsuro Taira's grappling skills in such high regard that I'm seeing plus 350 to win via submission. So I cannot pass that up as a sprinkle play. Tatsuro Taira, hot prospect, plus 350 for a submission. You got to be kidding me. So I'm taking advantage of that. So, in conclusion, guys, we have some chalky lines, but I feel like they're pretty safe. And Joanderson Brito inside the distance sitting at minus 165. I view that line as a minus 200 plus. So take advantage of that now before it starts to get steamed up. The under 1.5 rounds between Jordan Wright and Dusko Todorovic, that should be a minus 300 play. I don't foresee that going 7.5 minutes or beyond that. I would be very, very surprised if that did. And then our final play of the evening is going to be another under 2.5 between Cub Swanson and Johnathan Martinez, sitting there at plus money with all the question marks surrounding the weight cut, the age of Cub Swanson, the chin of Johnathan Martinez. I'm just going to take advantage of that slight plus money and hope for the best. Not the best money line plays this week. Some props are kind of already steamed, like Dusko Todorovic inside the distance sitting at minus 150. That's also why I really like the under 2.5 in that bout. So I feel like this is a violence week where we're just going to target the unders and hopefully we cash. So guys, thank you so much for watching. I will be back next week for another episode of the best bets for Odd Shopper. And my name is Pete Rogers. Thanks again, guys. Have a good one.